people were picking up trash in other cities and coming here to the alleys and dumping them.
Oh, sir. Well, you know what? The cops.
Our neighbors were having fight with their neighbors and dumping on the side of their neighbors. And
All right, let's call this meeting to order.
Dumping fine or something?
Roll call, please. Here.
Vice Mayor Petrolando, Councilman Best,
Present.
Councilman Bain,
I'm here.
Councilwoman Buckner.
here,
We got a new.
Please stand for the invocation.
We have a new vice mayor, don't we?
Councilwoman Buckner.
301. And don't forget it now. Don't forget it.
Tom. No.
ready? If we can all share in the joy that that child that was missing from Lakeland, Florida was recovered healthy, and so far we've heard that she has not been damaged in any way except from being taken. I'd like to give thanks to our higher beings for such a wonderful event. I also ask that we have peace and quiet, and that the city can prosper, and all those that need assistance receive it, and amen.
Amen. Can I just say something?
Sure.
I'd like to have just a moment for Mr. Santana.
Yes.
Please. Okay, thank you.
Please place the flag. Place your hand over your heart. Recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Chief Guzman, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Manager. I'd like to welcome the newest member of the Miami Springs Police family. Where are you? Public Service Aide Michelle Martinez. Right up there. She's a resident of Miami Springs, 23 years of age. She is studying criminal justice at Miami-Dade College, and when I say the Miami Springs Police family, I am not saying that figuratively, because her sister is Officer Denise Martinez in the back. So,
It doesn't look anything like her.
Yeah, there's a similarity, Jen. Come on.
Michelle, welcome. I wish you nothing but a long, prosperous, and happy career here at the Miami Springs Police Department. I wish you well. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Picture, picture.
Congratulations.
Hey, can you come up here and take a picture?
Yeah, Tom will get it.
No, our sister's a good photographer.
Okay.
Who's Mike?
Mom. Mom. Photo bombing mayor.
Jeez, I was going to do that. What with the chief?
Can we get one with the chief as well, please? Which one you smell so good? I think it's the chief, no.
Probably right.
It's Billy.
I didn't put nothing on today.
Thank you and welcome to the family.
Didn't put nothing on.
Be safe.
If I did, boys,
I thank you, Tom, the opportunity you've given me this evening, and thank you all, and God bless.
God bless. Mara Zapata. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Mara Zapata. I live at 272 Cherokee Street. I'm a proud 32-year resident of Miami Springs. I love Miami Springs. And I am honored that I am able to serve the city as chair of the Education Advisory Board for the city. Professionally, I'm an administrator at Miami-Dade College, and I'm here today to share some wonderful news, educational news. Tomorrow, we will be launching a teaching academy at Miami Springs Senior High. It is a partnership between Miami-Dade College and Miami-Dade County Public Schools. And it's going to afford students who are part of that academy lots of things in terms of exposure to the college, dual enrollment. We're working very closely with the school and the teachers who are going to be spearheading it. So I'm here to invite all of you to be there tomorrow morning at 8:30, just for brief moments. We will have a ribbon cutting. We've invited Commissioner Rebecca Sosa, School Board member Susie Castillo, who has confirmed attendance, and people from the college, and of course people from the community. And it is because of this city council that we're able to do this type of educational venture and partnership in Miami Springs. The students will have an opportunity to go out into the other schools and do clinical hours in those schools and practice some of the things that they learn about the teaching profession. The principals from the schools will be attending as well. So this is just a little token of my appreciation for the mayor, because it's due to your leadership that the city has a type of educational collaboration that we're able to do here in the community. Like when we had the Youth Advisory Council and you were here to support that. So the Educational Advisory Board is not a board that meets every month, but it is a board that does very important work in the community. And so I want to thank you for supporting us. Just
Thank
a
you.
little token.
No problem. I'll give it to the clerk. Thank you.
It's not over $100, is it?
Not explosive, because I went through the,
Ms. Zapata,
I'll-
Councilwoman Zapata.
Where do we meet? The front of the
So,
school?
so you just meet on the first floor. It'll be on the second floor. There's an area up there. Jan Spivak, who is an educator there, will be heading in. She already has buy-in from the other teachers to support these students. It would be great, Mayor, if you were there and you could do at least welcoming remarks. Wouldn't that be nice?
You never know when the mayor shows up.
Well, we would
Stuff.
love that, and we would love all of you to be there. Thank you.
Be on your toes.
Big
Thank
scissors, the mayor will be there.
You. And my big scissors.
36.
Thank you again. Okay, moving on to approval of
36
council
Freedom
minutes.
College.
5A, September 26, 2015, regular meeting.
Second floor.
Smart.
Oh, wow.
Entertain a motion.
Motion moved.
To approve the minutes of the 26th.
He beat me to it second.
I have a first and a
that.
All right, Jamie got it. Jamie got it.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda.
That's correct.
Vice
That's correct,
Mayor?
yeah.
Call the roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda.
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Bain.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner.
Yes.
Mayor Garcia.
Yes, moving on to public hearings. 7A, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir. This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, establishing a temporary moratorium for a period of 180 days from the effective date of this ordinance on the acceptance, review, approval, or issuance of any land development permits, as the term is defined in Florida statutes, Section 163-3164, sub 16, business tax receipts, or any other license or permit for the establishment or operation of dispensing facilities within the City of Miami Springs, engaging in the on-site distribution, sale, delivery, or retail of low THC cannabis, medical cannabis, or cannabis delivery devices pursuant to Sections 3.81.986 and 499.0295 of the Florida statutes, in order to provide the city with an opportunity to review and enact regulations governing the establishment and operation of all dispensing facilities, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. Mayor, this is a second reading of the ordinance. There have been no changes since the first reading, and this is a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. I open up to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this item is welcome to do so at this time. We now close the public hearing.
Through the chair, motion to move 7A, sir.
I'll second it.
First and a second. Any discussion? Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda.
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Bain.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner.
Yes.
Mayor Garcia.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to consent agenda.
Yes, Mayor and Council, as we do every year at the beginning of October, we have our consent items to appropriate monies for the coming fiscal year. We can either do this one of two ways. I can read the consent items verbatim, or we've prepared a summary version of it that we could also use. It's up to you how you want to handle it.
I'm okay with the summary unless anybody on council
All right.
objects to it.
At
I
8A,
want to hear the first of the summaries, and then I'll decide.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's see how much you summarize. Do you have a copy of it? 'Cause I don't
Does
have a copy.
anybody want any of these pulled?
I like to pull ST.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Let's do that.
Which one, I'm sorry?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
ST.
S and T.
Yes.
Anybody else want to pull any of them out? That he is. Okay, so let me hear the first couple of them.
Item 8A is the approval of the city attorney's invoice for September 2016 in the amount of $13,176.
Simple.
The following are consent agenda items that have been budgeted in an amount not needed and will be used on an as-needed basis as follows. 8B is M. Jurado and Associates, $15,000 for mechanical plans, reviews, and inspections. 8C, Evelio Mantilla, DBA Florida General and Roofing, $70,000 for roofing and building plans, reviews, and inspections. 8D, River Cities Gazette, $28,950 for local access and notifications of advertising and legal notices. 8E, Toshiba, $25,000 for copier lease services and printer program services that include maintenance services and cartridges. 8F, Kelly Janitorial, $83,496 for janitorial cleaning services citywide. 8G, Miami Lakes Veterinary Clinic, $7,200 for veterinary services, 2 police canines, fertilizers for the greens at the golf course. 8N, Florida Superior Sand Incorporated, $55,000 for medium grade sand for the golf course. 8O, fertilizers at the golf course, medium fertilizer and chemicals, $120,000 for chemicals and custom blended fertilizers for the golf course. 8R, Ultimate Advertising, $15,000 for advertising the Miami Springs Golf Course in the Sports Yearbook. S&T were pulled. 8U, Electric Service and Repair Incorporated, $300,000 for providing electrical repair citywide. 8V, Granger, $12,000 for various stock items for all public works departments. 8W, Miami Tire Soles, $40,000 for tires for all departments. 8X, MyCar Trucking, $20,000 for road rock. 8Y, Palmetto Ford, $20,000 for parts and repairs to city trucks. 8Z, Sunbelt Hydraulics, $15,000 for parts and repairs to city trucks. 8AA is at the end, and 8BB, First Vehicle Services, $237,056.18 for fleet mechanical services. Now, the following are consent agenda items that have been budgeted for one-time purchases on items in an amount not to exceed as follows. 8H, Signal Technology Enterprises Incorporated, $10,554.96 for emergency equipment on 4 unmarked police sedans. 8I, General Sales Administration, Major Police Supply, $36,153.24 for stationary automated license plate reader with software. 8J, Don Reed Ford Incorporated, $88,580 for 4 2016 Ford Taurus 4-door sedans. And 8AA, Train US Incorporated, $38,248 for the City Hall AC compressor overhaul.
Okay, I entertain a motion to approve those items.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second, just for discussion, just to mention the 2 that we are not including is 8S and 8T. Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda?
Yes.
Councilman Bass?
Aye.
Councilman Bain?
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes. Okay, 8S, Councilman Petrolanda. Will you read it first into the
Yeah,
record?
let me read. Recommendation by golf that council approve an expenditure to 8S.
Yes.
Yes, and
Sierra.
This is Sam.
Yes, this is Samo.
U.S. Lubricants.
Okay. Recommendation by golf that council approve an expenditure on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $60,000 to U.S. Lubricants, the lowest responsible quote, after obtaining 3 written quotes for fuel for the maintenance and golf cart fleet as funds were budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to Section 3111C2 of the City Code.
Councilman?
Being consistent for the past 3 years, I voted no on this item. I just don't think the Miami Springs should be running gas carts on our golf course. So
Got it.
I have not evolved in this issue.
T?
Okay, and T?
8T, recommendation by Golf that Council approve an appropriation of funds to Yamaha in the amount of $58,095 on an as-needed basis for the lease of the golf cart fleet as funds were budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to Section 3111E6G of the City Code and pursuant to the city's existing lease agreement with no increases in price.
Paul, Paul, can you come up for a moment, please, sir?
So this $5,800, $58,000, sorry, $58,000 is what, to continue the lease that we got on 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah, it's the last year of the lease.
This is the last year.
It's 5
When
years,
is it
right?
that we're going to be able to shop to see if we can, if it
Probably
makes sense
start,
to,
probably put an RFP out, more likely July, August, something like that.
for
Lease is up in
For 17, 18.
October of 2017.
17.
October 17? All right. All right, thank you, Paul.
You welcome.
I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda S and T.
I'll second that, and for discussion, if I might, when
Yes, sir.
you, I'd like to applaud Councilman Petrolanda for his take on this, and he's correct. He has for the last 3 years gone green, if you will, on this issue, and I applaud him for that. I don't think the money's there to make it happen yet, but someday if it is, I'd like to join in this pew.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
Okay, call the roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda.
No.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Bain.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner.
Yes.
Mayor Garcia.
Yes. Okay.
How's your electric car at home, Councilman?
Sorry?
How's your electric car at home?
How does that work out?
How's that going?
It's working.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice Mustang.
Yeah.
5 liter.
4 cylinders.
Four
Oh, it's
cylinder.
4-cylinder.
And that's not a Mustang.
It is a Mustang.
It is a Mustang. Oh,
Oh,
yes.
there's a chassis, but
Yeah, it's a Mustang. Okay, good job, everybody.
For the record, that's not just for the golf carts to get. That fuel is for
I
also
understand.
the machinery.
The last
Everything
3
is-
years, I've
yeah.
asked to split it up, so
Yeah, you
I
have.
can say yes to one and not
you
to
have.
the other.
I know that.
Okay, moving on to 9, old business. Appointments to advisory boards. Does anyone have any appointments?
I have none, Mayor. Thank you.
I have none either.
I don't have any.
I
No
got, I'm
discussion.
full up. I'm
All
full
right.
up, I think.
Moving on to, Erica, do me a favor. That line, maybe ask council beforehand. I don't have to read that every time. We've had, I don't know how many meetings, asking about, does anybody have any appointments to the advisory board? If somebody has one, please notify her, and we'll put it on the agenda. No more
It's reasonable.
asking on the spot.
Tough work.
Yeah. 10A, new business, a resolution.
This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Springs providing for the 5th budget amendment to the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget by transferring designated fund balance funds to the general fund and the debt service fund, providing intent, specifying compliance with the budgetary processes and procedures and effective date. This is the last budget amendment for the last budget. It simply carries over the debts that were in existence at that time, right?
So the last budget amendment for last year is to cover the
God bless you.
payment, the payoff of the golf course note.
Oh,
Gotta love
Yes,
it.
that's right.
Okay, I entertain a motion on the resolution.
Motion to move 10A through the chair.
Second.
Any discussions? Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda.
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilwoman Buckner.
yes.
Mayor Garcia.
This resolution, the city will not be providing any financing to any party, nor will it be responsible for the repayment of any financing provided by the authority. And further, the city will not be named nor otherwise participate in any manner in any financing transaction involving the authority. I have spoken to their attorney regarding the proposal. The next document you will see, if you flip past the resolution, is a party membership agreement. Basically, there is a very large document that's an interlocal agreement. It's actually the second amended interlocal agreement for this particular authority. It also attaches an agreement that it has with contractors to do work for the authority. Basically, the resolution authorizes proper officials of the city to execute this document. By executing this document, it is the same as executing the interlocal agreement. So we
Understood.
become part of that authority. Again, this is a way for local, both commercial and residential property owners to finance some upgrades on their homes or properties to be more energy efficient, similarly to what the city did before with its program. And the authority, I had some questions about who was going to be responsible for doing all the work about getting the tax collector and the tax assessor on board with this process.
Right.
And it's clear from talking to them and reading through the documentation that it will be the authority's responsibility to do that. Basically, what will happen is if a person wants to be involved in one of these authority projects, they will agree to have on their tax bill as part of the financing for the project a non-ad valorem, which means doesn't come to the city. It's not a tax-related item. It's like almost like a special assessment, but it's a private special assessment rather than a governmental special assessment, not for street lighting or drainage or anything like that. It's for the work that's going to be done on their property. The tax assessor will agree to abide by the financing terms of the transaction and bill these property owners accordingly for as many years as it needs to be paid back with the interest charge that's charged. We have a 30-day get out. If for some reason we don't like this, the city can get out of it. If we do, it doesn't prevent the continuation of the tax payments by the property owner. That still goes on because all of that really doesn't involve us. Our involvement strictly allows what's going to happen with the relationship between the owner and the financing company and their contractors. See if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it. We are basically not involved too much in the process, and it's really a matter of getting us to allow the non-ad valorem tax assessments to be put on the tax bills.
Through the chair, if I could ask the attorney, Jan, would it be reasonable to, if this were to pass, that going forward we would get an update on this periodically to know how it's going, so that,
I mean,
as you
I
mentioned,
assume that the company would be willing to provide. I guess the updates would be how many people have.
Right.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. I'm sure that they would.
That's okay?
Their representative is here. Okay. He's nodding his head yes. So I assume that would be no problem.
Good. Councilwoman.
I believe at the last meeting, I may have misunderstood the interlocal with the county and all that. That's been taken care of. I believe it wasn't taken care of yet. It hadn't been signed off. Has it been signed off?
You're talking about I think maybe Doral. I'm not certain. Yeah. I think Doral has already finalized their process or at the very last stages of it. But the interlocal agreement does exist. I've read it. It's a second amended version of it, and it does include that agreement that I specified. And all we're doing is because this party membership agreement is like saying, okay, we agree, we're part of it. If they're successful in what they're doing, they're going to want municipalities to be involved in this. To imagine that you'd have to re-sign it and have 30 different versions is obviously impracticable, and it's a really ministerial act. So by executing the party membership agreement, we're simply saying we have signed it, although we actually haven't signed it. By signing this, we're agreeing to be part of it. And the other part, maybe I didn't mention it also, but there are indemnity provisions all through this. And the bottom line is we are only responsible, as we always are, for whatever we do.
You've covered it to our satisfaction.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Vice Mayor has a question.
Jan, when you say we have 30 days to opt out,
Yeah.
is that 30 days from tonight?
No,
or
no,
30
at
days-
any point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Through the chair, a motion to move 10C.
Second.
Any discussion? Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilman Bain?
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes. All right, moving on to 10D, a recommendation. Mr. Manager.
10D, this is a recommendation by Recreation. The council approve an expenditure in an amount not to exceed $83,601.40 to ballpark maintenance, the lowest responsible quote after obtaining 3 written quotes for the renovation of the athletic field at Prince, as funds were budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to Section 3111C2 of the City Code. The discussion, just to add to this summary recommendation, due to a very tight timeline, we were not able to do an RFP. The RFP process at times can take anywhere from 45 to 90 days. Prince Field is predominantly used year-round for youth sports. However, we have a narrow window that we don't have any commitments to any youth leagues for about 10 weeks, and that period is between November and January to complete the field renovations before Little League season starts. The field renovation is scheduled to take 8 weeks, and an additional 2 weeks are in place in case we have inclement weather and for the field to cure before it's used. The athletic field at Prince is in desperate need of a complete renovation, as was discussed during our budget process. We have obtained 3 quotes for complete renovation of the field. Please find attached the 3 quotes for renovation of the field. We're hoping that this project will improve the quality of life for our park patrons that use Prince Field for various athletic programs. And Omar is here in case you have any specific questions.
That's same under 10D. Entertain a motion on 10D.
A motion to move 10D.
Need a second, please.
I'll second that, even though I tried to push it off for a year. I'll second it.
Discussion? Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilman Bain?
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes. Okay. William, do you by any chance have the abbreviated version for all of the recommendations? Because these are the same for all of them, right? And they
Yeah,
all,
but
I
see,
see they
this
all
one-
feed off of 31.11, but
This only goes up to L to Z. It's not
Right.
bad. It's not too
I
bad.
I can summarize the rest of them. The next one is really a quote, so I'll just read the recommendation by Recreation. The council approve an expenditure in an amount not to exceed $10,342.50 to Superior Park Systems, the lowest responsible quote after obtaining 3 written quotes for the new shade cover canopy at Stafford Park, as funds were budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to Section 3111C2 of the City Code.
I entertain a motion on 10E.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. I need a second. Got it. Discussion? Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilman Bain?
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes. 10F.
10F, a recommendation of Public Works that council approve an extension of the contract with SFM Services for an additional 1-year period in the amount of $18,720 for street sweeping services, as funds were budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to Section 3111E6G of the City Code and pursuant to the city's existing contract.
Motion to move 10F.
Second.
Any discussion? Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilman Bain?
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes. 10G.
10G, a recommendation by Golf, the council approve an extension of the agreement with Hertz Corporation for an additional 1-year period on an as-needed basis in the amount of $16,400 for heavy equipment rental, as funds were budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to Section 3111E6G of the City Code and pursuant to the city's existing agreement with no increases in price to the municipal group rates.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to move, Mayor.
Second.
Got one question on
Yes,
this
sir.
one. What is this? What is this for? For repairs or for?
No, this
you're
is
renting-
at the
equipment.
golf course. Sometimes they have to rent certain types of equipment
Okay.
that they don't
okay.
have.
I got it.
I think it's a
Thank
cover,
you.
it's
Any
a
further
coverage thing,
discussion?
Willard.
Thank you.
Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilman Bain?
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes. 10H.
10H, recommendation by Golf, the council approve an extension of the contract with Greens Grade Incorporated for an additional 1-year period on an as-needed basis in the amount of $340,000 for ground maintenance services at the Miami Springs Golf and Country Club, as funds are budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to Section 3111E6G of the City Code and pursuant to the city's existing contract with no increases to the billing rate. This is the company that provides the maintenance staff for the golf course.
Entertain a motion on 10H.
Motion to move,
please.
Mayor.
Second.
The discussion? Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilman Bain?
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes.
10I, recommendation by staff that council approve an extension of the contract with Waste Management Systems for an additional one-year period in the amount of $22,320 for all citywide owned buildings for garbage and recycling container pickup services as funds were budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to section 3111 E6G of the city code and pursuant to the city's existing contract.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
10J, recommendation by the city manager that council approve an extension of the contract with Becker and Poliakoff, PA, formerly the Fuentes and Rodriguez Consulting Group, for an additional one-year period in the amount of $45,000 paid in 3 equal installments for consulting and lobbying services as funds were budgeted in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to section 3111 E6G of the city code and pursuant to the city's existing contract.
A motion to approve 10J.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
10K, recommendation by Information Technology that council approve an extension of contract MIAS 1879LG 130482-1 with SunGuard Public Sector Incorporated for an additional one-year period in the amount of $121,776 for off-site ASP hosting for our usage of the SunGuard HDE software as funds were approved in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to section 3111 E6G of the city code and pursuant to the city's existing contract.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to move item K.
Second it.
I got one question. Does this have anything to do with what I saw in 60 Minutes, where they're going to have a robot go for the city clerk's job?
The robot was going to come in, but since there wasn't a window, the robot said, I'm not coming.
It runs under solar? Is that what it is? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nope, move on.
Okay, 10L, recommendation by the police department that council approve an extension of the contract with USA Software Inc. for an additional one-year period in the amount of $18,705.75 for annual software support and maintenance contract renewal as funds were budgeted or approved in the fiscal year 16-17 budget pursuant to section 3111 E6C of the city code and pursuant to the city's existing contract.
To the chair, a motion to move 10L.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Okay, going to 10M. So a request by Councilwoman Buckner for council to discuss placing a fence along the city-owned property at 627 Elgin Drive. Councilwoman, the floor is yours.
Well, what I wanted to do was I spoke with William and not necessarily fence it off. What I'd like to do is reclaim the property. Maybe make it green or do whatever we need to do with it. That's what I was thinking, since Mr. Perez isn't going to take a contract for that property and it's ours. I wasn't too sure about, the liability standpoint. If somebody's in there and something happens, where the liability lies. Now it's not covered by insurance anymore because there's no contract and we have to maintenance it. Do we want to keep it as a parking lot? Do we want to leave it open and accessible for people to park in there off hours and do whatever it needs to be? Or do we want to maybe get together and decide what we'd like to do with that, either reclaim it back to the golf course or I don't know, consider doing something with that sliver of property.
Do you have a proposal?
Well, I'd like to see it maybe brought back to green space, if not maybe brought into as a walking path or a bike path or whatever we can financially afford or foresee in the future that we can do with that property.
Through the chair,
Yes,
if I might ask the attorney a question. Jan, based on it is now versus what is being suggested, what's the diff in liability, if any?
Well, since it was the property that is the city's is no longer being insured by Mr. Perez under his agreement, the city, I assume, has picked up the insurance for that portion of it.
Has that happened already?
I believe it has, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was kind of my question
But
right there.
But the second point is maybe a bigger question, and that is, I don't know myself, and I wouldn't presume to know what would be planned or whatever. I would just recommend that putting a bike path or a walking path near a functional golf course needs to be examined before it's done, because we would not. I don't know how the directions of the balls go, and I know what a bad golfer I was when I was playing, and I wouldn't want to put anybody in jeopardy. I know we have an awful lot of claims for damages going from north to south along Elgin Drive.
Parking on Curtis Parkway to park there and use that parking lot to do their walking during the evening.
Billy, so as to kind of mirror what the gentleman in forums was speaking
Yeah,
about.
if
about
that's a
the-
consideration,
all the way around. Yeah.
that'd be a nice place for them to have a place to park and walk around the golf course. You can make one full circle and come back to their car. I mean, I don't know how many spots there are, and I don't know.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. If you look at the survey that's on there, I have an area highlighted in yellow.
Right.
The problem is that if you see the line, the property line, it almost takes up. It forms a triangle on the parking lot. It cuts it in. So the area in yellow is ours, but the spots that are left there in white are part of the property owners.
Right.
So you would actually be running like a perpendicular line across the parking lot, where you're going to be, there's a bunch of spaces towards the end that the line goes right through half the space.
Right.
Where you won't be able to use that unless you get the property owner's permission.
Right.
That's the only issue I see.
It's as to the irregularity of the
parking lot.
cut.
Yeah.
where it goes,
Right,
yeah.
what I like to know is, Jan, what is, if you can inquire as to what is our liability right now having it as a parking lot? Because we have plenty of parking lots. The golf course has a parking lot. The parks have parking lots. There's parking lots that are city.
Yeah,
parking
we're
lots anyways.
insured for it
Yeah.
with the Florida League. I mean, it's covered if there was an accident there. I
mean, and
for us
the
to have any
last-
liability, honestly, it would be very hard because it's a designed parking lot. Most likely, if there's an automobile accident in there, it's probably the responsibility of one of the two drivers. The only, I guess the only potential liability is something untoward happens there at after dark. On a city property,
That'd be no different than any other.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Well, there's
And what I
nothing-
was going to point out that, yeah, in the last 30 years, I think there's only the 5-year period that we issued that lease was really insured by the property owner. The rest of
Yes.
the time was insured by the city.
We did it, yeah.
So the city's always insured it
It's
up
our,
until the last
it's
5
our
years?
property.
Yeah.
So wait, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Well,
We've only,
I don't think that's exactly correct. I think what happened is, you have to remember that this property was leased from the city of Miami for a number of years by Dr. James. Somehow, the city of Miami, being the city of Miami, lost track of it, apparently. When we bought the golf course, apparently Dr. James hadn't been paying rent for a number of years. The lease had sort of, fallen through the cracks. So there's a good, I think Dr. James would have been responsible had there been an incident there at that point, based upon his prior lease. When we got it from the city of Miami, we weren't even aware of it at the time. Since that time, we have insured it, except for the time that it became the 5-year operational period for Mr. Perez.
which is only
for
recently.
4 years.
So it's just reverting right back to what it was before the 5-year period.
Exactly
of
right.
what it was.
Where the angle is, where's the entrance to the parking lot? Can you tell on this thing here?
It's really in Mr. Perez's property.
It's, yeah.
We don't really have access.
In other words, yeah, to get into that property, you would have to
No,
go
you
through
get
his
drive.
property.
Or we can go around the golf course.
Or create,
Okay.
or
A
go onto the
driveway.
golf course
So the entrance
to
to
create
this lot
an
is here?
entranceway.
Which
There's not much space.
Yeah.
which might lend itself to make sense, John,
So there is no
relative to
entrance
something
in
going
here.
around the course on the east side, coming around to the south side, to make it encircle the golf course completely, and that would solve the problem at the same time.
Well,
As
you know,
Billy suggested.
in reality, I don't want to get rid, well, I don't care.
No, let's hear what you have to say.
No, I'm going to say it, because I don't care.
Jan,
Somebody might suggest,
go on.
in looking at the diagram, maybe a trade could be made between the city and Mr. Perez. Mr. Perez has 1, 2, 3 and a half, maybe close to 4 spaces on what in effect is the city side of it. Maybe he would be willing to give away those to the city in exchange for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 2 small things that are on the other side. So there could be a clear line of demarcation
Yes.
between one side of the parking lot. So I guess it would be the northernmost portion
Right.
could be strictly city, and the southernmost portion could be strictly
His.
Mr. Perez.
You couldn't split it down the middle, Jan?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah, he's doing
Well,
that.
you're doing north and south. I'm doing east and west.
I think east and west would be more
Split it here.
problematic.
Yeah.
I think north and south would be easier and
Yeah, and
probably
we can still get access to it if we wanted to through our own site.
to get it, as part of the transaction, you could request that you have an easement provided to get in through his parking lot.
Jan, how about the green space?
I'm sorry, what green space?
The green space, because you're just talking about
Space?
this part here.
Well, I'm not concerned about that. Why would he be concerned about that? I'm looking at this diagram right here. I'm only talking about this from
Right,
here.
I know what you're talking about, those spaces, so
Yeah.
we can split it up. But if you do that, what happens to, because this part here, where the fence between the yellow line, can you scroll down or?
Yeah.
There. So the yellow, between the yellow and where the fence is now, that's
Mhm.
ours, right?
Between the yellow
Yes.
line, yes, of course.
So that stays with the city, correct?
No. What I'm suggesting is a trade.
Just parking.
Yeah.
I'm suggesting that this part of the property that is the golf course on this side here, at the end here, this part here,
Right.
which belongs to the city would give that, the city would keep that.
Jen, I understand what you're suggesting.
Okay.
My question to you is the green spot, we're not talking about the green
No,
spot.
no, only the parking lot part. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
Cement.
Yeah, only the parking lot.
Jan, there's been a good amount of discussions about
The sliver?
what, the sliver in general, but then now about the possibilities of using that portion and section for green space, for the city to use, for walking, for whatever it may be. There's been numerous council members that have advocated in using our green spaces for our residents to be able to use our green spaces. So I'm okay with that. But I'm saying, why don't we look into what could we possibly do with that space as opposed to this said a fence. I understand she said, Councilwoman said she doesn't want a fence, but before we say let's go ahead and do this and define a solid line, let's look into what we can do with that space
That's fine.
and get the ball rolling with that if the councilwoman is okay with
And
that,
I just-
as opposed to drawing a line and saying, okay, let's see how we can take it back, just to have green space, just to have green space. Have we ever considered? I don't know if staff has ever considered in purchasing that property from Manny, since it is right on the corner of our city.
The entire property?
His
or the-
property,
or
right.
just the parking lot?
His property, the property, or maybe just the parking lot. But once you purchase the parking lot, that property is nothing. Really, it's a
Well, we would have a legal problem. Whoever would have that property have a legal problem, because theoretically, they'd have a building without parking.
right. What I'm saying is, us purchasing it so we could corner off and square off our golf course and use it for city need, for city property. Purchasing his property.
I don't think it's ever been discussed, but it's certainly an alternative.
Is that something that we would want to approach Mr. Perez on, just to see if he's
That's-
even interested?
That's up to us.
It's up to you.
Right.
I mean, I don't think you, Mayor, just so it's clear, I don't think it's condemnable.
Well, I'm not saying to condemn it
I'm
at
saying
all.
it because there's really no public purpose involved, except maybe squaring off the golf course. But for negotiated situation, certainly anything is.
Well,
anything is-
you're saying that it's not condemnable, meaning we can, I guess, eminent domain the property.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right,
yeah.
we can't do that. But there is a need in our city. There is a need for field space in our city. There is a serious need. We own one field in this entire city. So I really love the fact that the residents.
In
came
that
up
case,
here-
I withdraw what I just said.
Right.
It is
Wonderful.
condemnable.
Right. So it is a possibility, but I
Yes.
prefer to do it the right way and enter into discussions with Mr. Perez, because I know he's had a couple of people, put in offers and then pull out offers, and he's had a hard time selling that property. If we really do see a need for
Yes.
recreational space,
Sure.
and if we're thinking about putting a jogging track down the back of the golf course, that's recreational use already, using a jogging path or. I see where the residents are coming from that propose that. Let's put it to use for something so people will stop talking about possibly using it for anything else but recreational space.
Bingo.
Bingo, right? Bingo. So why not use it for something that the residents can use and corner off that space and make it something recreational that we can use. We own one field in the city of Miami Springs. And if you talk to the folks who run these recreational programs, and Omar Luna, who's sitting right back there, he'll tell you that every year there's a constant battle, every year long, a constant battle over field space. Because every year more and more, you have these sports going year round. You have baseball going year round. You have soccer going year round. You've got the need for field spaces. And we own Prince Field. That's it. So I'd like to see what that number is. What is that number? Is he willing to sell that property to us and not have to deal with this anymore? We don't have to talk about a sliver anymore. It's now Miami Springs property. We can use it for the need that we have in the city, which is recreational. We can get Mr. Oldell to let us know what we can do with that, I guess the 1 or the 2 hole that's there on the front 9, maybe to accommodate so we can have the space to use that. And no one will be able to say that it's development or it's recreational use.
Being that what you're suggesting here, what has been talked about among several of us, to go forward into direct administration to approach Mr. Perez on this and see where we go with it.
Well, besides that,
would that satisfy? Well, I know. Beside that, all the advantages you mentioned, but would that satisfy the councilwoman's
inquiry
where she wanted to go with this, as far as making sure that property came back to us?
Well, I wasn't at the point where I would want to buy the property and stuff, but now that you're mentioning property, and I know you're saying green, and I know you're saying spaces, but hey, we could put the senior center there.
Is there enough room?
I would believe so.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you'd have to.
I'm saying if you're going to go the route to ask him how much he wants to pay for that, okay, I simply wanted to reclaim the property.
Right.
Okay, didn't want to make a big mess, make a big expenditure. I simply wanted to reclaim what was ours. But if you believe that we can approach him and do it that way, I would like to. If we're going to approach and try to buy that property, then consider that property as a place to put the new senior center multi-purpose room and go from there, because there's already parking there and it would just have to be repaired. So I just like to see something happen with this property.
But how do you reclaim what's already yours? I'm
Oh,
concerned.
no,
I'm curious about that. If it's
being
ours,
used-
why are we
it's
reclaiming it?
Because it's being used as a parking lot that really nobody uses. Because I go through there all the time to see if anybody uses it before I came and did this.
Very
Nobody
seldom.
really uses it. That parking lot needs repair work. It hasn't been lined. I don't see lights at night. There's a lot of issues with that parking lot. I like to, if we're going to maintain it as a parking lot, let's go out there and maintain it as a
And
parking
we
lot.
got to make sure, though, if we do this, because of the way things are in this situation, if we buy that, it can't be part of the golf course.
No, it's not. It's not golf course property, is it?
If you're gonna buy that, you
That's a
can't,
really good point.
because you can't make it part of the golf course, but because then you're in the same predicament
Yep.
as you're going to use the land over there on the corner.
So-
So you're in a as much as you want to put the community center there, it's going to have to be land that stands on its own. It can't be land that's part of the golf course or it falls into the golf course's legal ramifications.
That's a good point,
Can-
except that, I'll tell you the same thing I said when you asked if the city could build a governmental building
Yeah.
on the golf course, and that is yes.
I
So
have-
if it was part of the golf course, you could still build a building
But
here.
that's not, I understand that. That's my whole point. My whole point is we had a legitimate legal standing to build the new senior center multi-purpose building in that site over there by the mansion. Now, if you're going to go ahead, you might have that same uproar from the people that come into this dais and talk to us so cordially and nice. They come talk to us because we are Mayberry RFD, remember that. They come talk to us, they might say, well, now that you bought that property, you're going to be part of the golf course, so we don't want it for any other use. So I just throw that out because there's always things you got to think about when you do it. But all this is going to come down to how much it's going to cost.
Of course.
I don't see anything wrong with negotiating the situation.
And remember,
But
what you're
it's
doing
all-
is taking a property that's paying taxes now,
Yeah.
and you're losing that tax revenue.
That's going to be an
There's a lot of
offset.
things, but
Yeah.
you could go ahead and do the negotiations, and I think it should be in twofold. One is what the attorney's suggestion was, to square it off and see what kind of a deal you can make for the entrance to use for public parking and private parking, and see what happens with it. But it's still going to come down to all of us what it's going to cost us to do it.
That's right.
Because we have X amount of dollars dedicated for the new center, but this might be an extraordinary cost because now you're going to knock down a building.
Yeah.
And so I think you got to look at everything and see what happens with it.
Williams, do you?
But I have no problem leaving this table tonight and making a motion to go ahead.
Have the administration.
Have the administration see about negotiations to buy, and figure out through the attorney how you want to buy it, whether it has to stand on alone, and also see about squaring the.
Let's do one at a time.
You want to motion that one?
Yeah, we'll do one.
That's
wait,
my
I have a question.
But he's doing a motion that we can ask. You want to hear his question?
Sure,
for
let's
the
get
motion?
it, yeah.
After you.
I just want to know, do you know how much he paid for it when he purchased the land?
No.
No.
But I can
We could
can
look
check
it up,
out.
I suppose. It's
Let's
don't
not
think
count.
that's-
Let's not
that's-
count on Dade County.
And that's irrelevant.
Yeah,
anyway.
and how long ago was that too? So that's another thing.
I understand your question, but it's irrelevant anyway.
Well, it gives us an idea if it's going to be feasible for us to even try. I'm
Bill,
thinking.
did you make the motion?
I made a motion to
I'll
pursue through the owner of that property.
I like the way
to
it's
see if
go-
there's any negotiations of buying it.
I like the way that's going. I'll second that.
Any discussion on that?
Just one comment. Any negotiations, depending upon what an amount, would have to be backed up according to Florida law by, depending upon the amount that is being discussed by either one or two independent appraisals.
Okay.
Right. I mean, but he's already had a couple of offers on that property.
Yeah, he might have
He might already
actually have
appraisals
appraisals
already
on
from
hand,
it.
actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Further
But
discussion.
okay, make the
No, I have they're in discussion.
Well,
Councilwoman.
That's not the only thing I would like, to direct
We're
the city
going to
to
do other things too,
Oh,
but we're
okay.
just doing one motion at a time. Okay. Any other discussion on that? Call a roll.
Vice Mayor Petrolanda.
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilman Bain.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner.
Yes.
Mayor Garcia.
I know that there might be a
I know Tom and Paul went out there and looked at it, and they had some safety concerns on that back end between where the property is and the mansion.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I know.
Yeah,
you-
you're
We're not
right.
looking for a full-blown discussion.
You're right.
now.
You're
All right.
right. You're right.
Let's put it
Yeah,
together
well-
and see what possibilities there are.
Okay.
That's great.
If it's between, you and staff and getting together with Paul, and I'd really like to make sure that Omar is included in that process. He might want to kick me in the rear later on for throwing his name into the mix, but I appreciate if this has to do something recreational wise. I'd like for staff to hear from, I'm sure he hears it, the issues and the needs of our community. So it's something that we can seriously consider, especially if we're going to look at revamping and using for citizens, for residents, for residential use recreationally, that southwest corner of the city. I want to make sure that you guys look at all the possibilities of what we can do there and the costs of it, including and not
Purchasing
including.
the property.
Yeah, including and not including the sliver of the Perez
Right.
property that's there right now. Councilwoman?
Chief, you can pull a run on any reports that have been received on golf balls hitting in that area, if they were reported by the police?
Yes. I can tell you, since I've been here, I don't recall one.
They
And I read
don't
every
go to
report.
him. They go to the liability.
They go to
consultant.
the
They go
risk
They go to
manager.
risk
They go
management.
to- Okay, then.
I can tell you, I know of a number of them.
Yeah, but not in that area.
Not in
That-
what area?
that's
Not- not
specifically in
Not that
area.
far down.
You can't-
Right, yes, right, I agree,
Specifically
I
for
agree.
for you.
But along the
It's not
fairway
the
on one,
parking
though,
lot.
for
It's-
sure.
Yes, yeah.
It's Eldon Drive in the apartments when
Right.
he
We're
slices
We're
off
talking
the
about
first tee.
maybe the hotels in that area. Maybe some balls get shanked
But
into
that's on
the.
the second hole.
Well, you'd have to be a lousy.
Yeah,
They wouldn't report it.
I know.
Risk management
I
would
know,
have it.
and I know.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is.
If you
Listen,
can find out from
I am
us,
not
then-
looking for us to debate the issue up here tonight.
No, no.
Does anyone have an issue in using that portion of the golf course recreationally, if it's just for a bike path or, anything like that?
No, I think I thought I tried to make it as simple as I could.
Right.
I think that it should be the suggestion of the attorney to try to square both lots off.
Right.
With the
like that.
legal description of using the entrance.
So just
Okay?
cutting it.
And I don't know about green space because I don't know what the cost is going to be to tear up part of that up to make green space. So, and then since we are thinking, as the person who spoke earlier, are thinking of possibly making a walkway to circle the golf course, I say again, that'd be a nice place for people to park and walk around the golf course and stay. And that'd be the economical and it'd be everybody's use. And I don't see, and then for his parking, it might be a great partnership to try to do that. And then we reclaim our property, which in my mind's already been reclaimed, but we might use it you do a better way.
Do you want the manager to also talk to Mr. Perez about that when he talks to him about the sale?
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
the second, was gonna be the second one. He said we didn't have to vote on it. You wanna vote on that?
No, I didn't hear you say that. I know we talked about it. I didn't hear you get a
I
get a
believe there's
consensus on it.
consensus to
For
square it off.
discussion to square off.
Square it and for the property.
But if we square it off, we would have to get a vote of the people because of anything that's done on the golf course has to go to.
That's not golf
we-
course property, though.
No, but what we would be
Yeah, the
squaring
portion,
off
the
would
portion
be-
that we're going to trade
Trade.
with,
Would
with
be-
Manny for, it's, yeah.
Is that,
I don't know if it is or not there.
No, it is, that is
it
golf course
is
property.
golf course property, yeah.
Yes. The portion on the south, excuse me, on the northeast side of that line is on golf course land, where it is. So if we're thinking about giving up a piece of ours to get a piece of his, you know, you see what you're saying, Jan, where you wanted to give up a piece of ours to get some of his,
Yeah.
the trade, that's partially golf course-esque property.
It is.
Right here.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Best laid plans.
It'll never happen. Never.
Okay. All right.
Next.
You're right. You're right, Councilwoman.
Never. Look at it all you want. It's not gonna happen.
See where his entrance is here? This part, according to what they're saying, that's golf course property.
It is.
Yeah, well, everything in the yellow
Everything
is golf course
on
property.
the other side of the yellow
So-
is golf course property.
Look at,
It's his, right, exactly.
is this what you're looking at?
Yeah, yeah, so what's on the
Yeah.
right side, that's all his. So,
Yeah.
so Jan is saying, let's have him, let's give him
No,
this
I
little
know
sliver
that.
here, so we can get this little sliver here.
I didn't, you know, it's like
Yeah.
anything else.
We're trading that for this.
Right.
So he's gonna give us this, we're gonna give him that, we'll square it off
And-
right here.
And he would give you an
He'll take
easement. He'd be required to give you an easement of ingress and egress.
Wonderful.
But
Never gonna happen.
I don't think you're
So
gonna.
Not
that's-
gonna do it.
Plus the fact, it would be, you'd have to spend 30,000 on an election.
It'll be a waste of money. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Too much money.
Forget about it.
Don't do it. No. So we'll
Let's put-
considering just the purchasing of the
Let's see what he says.
property,
Let's just see what he says.
considering the purchasing of the property to square it off,
You have to have a vote of the
will be
people
Let's get one.
to square that off.
just to square off a
No,
little
for the
tip.
property.
Oh,
No, you don't need a vote of the people to purchase the property. You need a vote to
give
give
it to
up.
him.
To give up.
Yeah, not to purchase Manny's property. No what? What are you talking about?
No, Manny's property is okay, it's not part of the golf course.
no.
To square off the parking lot, you
Yes.
need a vote of the
Okay,
people.
so no, we're not looking to square off anything.
do it.
Inquiry about the purchasing of his property, so, you know, just to clarify, the reason why I brought that up, the intent was for us to use it for recreational purposes, not for nothing else, not to, you know,
Well, let
develop it.
me ask you a question. How did that parking lot get there?
Who knows? This was from the city of Miami.
Oh, I
owned it.
know,
Years
Zee.
ago.
I understand that. I'm just asking a question. How did it get there? How was it allowed to abut onto the golf course to begin with?
It was a city of
I can only speculate that that when Dr. James bought the property, I don't even know if he built that building. You guys have been here.
I don't either. I don't know either,
Anybody
Jim.
know?
I'm not certain.
Did he build that building? I don't know.
Don't know
It certainly was built with an encroachment over the golf course property. Maybe during, the golf course has had a checkered past about going back and forth between Dade County, City of Miami, whatever. Maybe got lost in the shuffle. Maybe it simply was built that way and nobody realized it until maybe the City of Miami bought it. Maybe it happened during the time that Dade County owned it, and when the City of Miami got it, they realized that part of it was theirs. I'm only guessing. I have no
Oh,
idea.
I know you are, and to carry your guess on forward, and would they have put the line of demarcation over, allow that to go over that and just ignore it? I mean, I don't
No,
understand.
no, they had a lease with him. The City of Miami leased that part of the parking lot that was considered part of the golf course to Dr. James for over 30 years.
As an arrangement, okay.
Yes.
All right, I see what you're saying now.
Okay, perfect. I look forward to getting that feedback back. But in the meantime, it
See what
stays as it is.
Yeah.
Right. Moving forward. Oh, we should just.
Mayor, I
let's
was just gonna say, is
Sure,
it
buddy.
worth researching? Maybe that property belongs to us,
What property?
this property.
No, if he bought it as,
Manny's property?
yeah, no, that was a
There'd be a
title
lot of,
search.
lot of title companies that would really object
Yeah.
to that interpretation, probably. No, it would be, no. They've had a number of sales A title company would have picked it up. Yeah.
That property was built in 1955.
All right,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you.
55.
We appreciate the history lesson. We're
55.
moving on. Agenda item 10M. We just finished 10M. We're moving on to 11A. Vote of confidence for the city manager as required by section 4.022 of the city charter. Wonderful. I'll entertain a motion for a vote of confidence for the city manager.
Motion to move item M.
No.
11A.
11A. We're not moving
11A.
it. 11A. Okay, 11A. I need a second.
I'll
please.
second that for end discussion, please.
All right. We have discussion. Call a roll.
Vice
We
Mayor,
have no discussion?
Call a roll.
Oh,
Vice Mayor
man,
Petrolanda,
shoot.
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilman Bain,
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckner,
Yes.
Mayor Garcia.
Yes. Mr. Attorney, any report from you, sir?
Actually, I do, Mayor.
Chop, chop.
I'm 67 today.
Yay! Happy birthday!
We can't sing happy birthday because of reasons, you know that.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, legal reasons.
I've been here a long time, and quite frankly, I stayed longer than Ron stayed because I had promised William that I would help him, along in his job. There was no discussion about his vote of confidence. Well, let me just say that he has surpassed what I thought he would do. Getting into it, he's fabulous. He'll be an exceptional city manager for many, many years to come. He's got great temperament. He's got the knowledge. He's the blueprint for a city like this city manager. He'll do a great job. So I don't feel like I'm stabbing you in the back by telling everybody that I'm going to retire effective December 31. William and I have had discussions about finding an appropriate replacement for me. I've had some discussions with some people, and hopefully by the time of the next meeting, we'll be able to present something to you. Obviously, it's your decision as to how you want to handle it. I'm probably going to recommend to you a specific person for the job. You can either accept it or do an RFP or do however you want to do it. But I'm pretty confident if everything goes the way I think it will go, that I think you'll be happy with the proposal. I don't want to get into all the stuff, but I've been here 42 years in one capacity or another. I've met wonderful people. I've had wonderful friends, wonderful support from elected officials and administrative people all alike. I wouldn't even begin to try and name them, they know who they are, and they know how I feel about them. They're as close to me as family, and I'm happy to have served. That's all I can say. It's been a long time, but I've people my age, friends of mine who are going through this, all say the same thing to me, and that is, you say to them, "Are you going to retire? When are you going to retire?" And they all say the same thing: "You'll know when the time is right." And for me, the time is right. So,
On your birthday.
well, it seemed like
He's
a good
announcing
time.
it on his birthday.
I tried to register to get my Social Security today,
Your AARP card?
and
I got my appointment next Monday.
and you know that the federal government is closed today.
Yes.
Is that a sign or what?
Yeah.
So anyway,
The irony is unreal here. He announces this on his birthday, and his last day of work is going to be my birthday.
is it? Well, there you go.
Interesting.
Wonderful.
Yes,
All right,
whatever.
Jan.
Well, we wish you the
Thank you.
best, but we
Well,
got
come
you
on.
till December.
You got me till
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
And
Still
if
got
you
plenty
and
of
if
time.
something happens where you don't go the way that we would recommend to you, and you need me to stay shortly
June.
after to help you
June.
shortly,
June.
and there'll be no, I'm not saying April. Oh, no.
April.
I love that.
There's something that bad in April. I'm not going to be around for that. No, but
Thank you.
I'd be glad to help any way I can.
Mr. Manager, anything from you, sir?
No, other than, I knew this day was going to come sooner or later. I have a great relationship with Jan. He's a mentor. He's, you know, the hardest part to, aside from being a good person, the hardest part for this city to replace is the 42 years of experience.
That's right.
Because this man knows that everything that gone on, the history of this city, and that's the only thing that's going to be hard to replace in a new person. But you know, he deserves it. He wants to take advantage and of that new TV set he's got in his house and spend time. But yeah, I wish you all the best. Well, we'll have time. We'll get you our money's worth out of you.
There you
What
go.
do you have? You
Yeah.
have well, wait a minute. We only have you for 3 more meetings.
No, we got more than 3 more meetings.
No, wait.
One in October, one in November, one in
one in
December.
November, one in December. He's right.
3.
Absolutely.
Where's the part? No, where's the party?
Oh, yeah, right.
No, no.
So
Where's
we're
the
gonna
party, at
roast
your
them
house?
good. I'm gonna
Oh,
roast
yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
roast
your
them.
house, so we can watch your
I'll be
TV.
there.
Let me call my wife.
Make arrangements.
Congratulations, Jan.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, just a few things of some things coming up quickly. We have the driver's licenses coming up Wednesday, October 19th from 9:30 to 2:30. We have the pumpkin patch opening up Wednesday, October 12th. The Miami Springs Farmers Market is going to open this Saturday, October 15th. We have the Drug Take Back Initiative, Saturday, October 22nd from 10 to 2 p.m. Let's see, at the CPO office. And Meowmobile returns Sunday, October 23rd at 8 a.m. So I have all this information. It's online, too, if anybody...
Okay.
That's
Thank
all
you,
I
sir.
have, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Councilwoman, anything from you?
Ms. Zapata, do you know if any of the schools here locally are going to be doing any drives to pick up necessary items for Cuba or for Haiti? Okay. If you find out, if you'll let us know, maybe Mr. Manager, you can find out if we can have a spot here instead of having to go to the north end or the south end where people can actually drop off items, non-perishable, and clothing for Cuba and Haiti. I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay.
And good luck. Gonna miss you. No, you're gonna miss me.
Councilman, Vice Mayor?
Mayor, thank you. This is a shock. A little notice would have been nice.
He's giving you notice, 3 months.
Well, I mean, before this, tonight. This is the
Oh.
first I heard
But
of
you
it.
haven't
This is
heard the
the first I
rumors? I
heard.
mean.
No, I don't listen to rumors.
Okay.
I don't listen to rumors. But you're going to be missed. You've done a fine job for the city, and your experience is going to be greatly missed. On the other hand, as far as Williams, you said that he super exceeded your expectations, not mine. I knew he was going to do a fine job. I want to thank you for what you've done and what you're going to do for the city and for our family. Thank you. Thank you to both. You're going to be missed. Thank you. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Best?
Willie, congratulations on your additional tenure here going forward a year. You're well deserving of it. And I think in the short period of time that you've ran the ship, so to speak, you've already demonstrated the value you are to this city. At least you have to me. And clipping through the budget like that with Ron leaving, putting everything together, I hear all around this town that nothing but thumbs up in your stead. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And Jan, on your account, you know, there's a few people I've met over the years I've been up here that have made sense to me, being associated doing this business, doing the will of the people. And one of them has been the honor of knowing you and learning from you. You have a way as an attorney of being able to put it to somebody to the point that it is totally understandable and not what you guys do in court, if you will, or what you read on the back of, you've always made things very simple for us to understand. God, I think you've written 95%.
You've got 5 spouses up here you have to deal with 5 different personalities, and it isn't an easy thing to do, but you're finding a way to do it. You can't please us, all of us, all of the time, but I know at the end of the day that you have the best interests of the city at heart.
Of course.
And that's what, that's all I ask for. You and I don't always have to agree on things, but as long as I know you continue, and that hasn't happened yet, by the way, in case you start to wonder, but as long as you keep putting the best interest of all of the residents at heart, and you look at all of the different options that we have, continue to serve the people of Miami Springs like we do up here, you have a seat here in this chambers there as a city manager for as long as I have a say about it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much. Yeah, we'll talk later, you and I. So yeah, that's it for my announcements. I want to make sure to, before we close, make sure that we all take this opportunity, or many opportunities, to praise and give thanks for the fact that we all at some point in time got to meet Mr. Carlos Santana, someone who was not a resident in the city of Miami Springs, but had a love and a passion for helping the people in this town better than a lot of the people that already do live in this town. The man really, truly, genuinely loved Miami Springs. He owned property here, but he wasn't like some other landlords that just will take anybody's rent money to plug in a hole in a shopping center. He made sure to get good businesses that fill in a spot. He'd leave it vacant for as long as he could until he found the right business to be filled there. And just like you see the theater, folks have been wanting to put things in there that he didn't see as the best fit for our city, so he just didn't do it. The one thing I can tell you I never heard Carlos Santana say is no. There isn't a group or an organization that came up to him to ask for assistance, to ask for something where he didn't say no. Sometimes folks might wish that he would have said, I'll do it for free, but he couldn't because he was running a business. But the guy was always willing to help people. And that's why I'm glad we're finishing this meeting at just before 8:30, so I can go pay my respects to him and his family. This meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, just let me.